नमः शिवाय शम्भो त्राहि मां करुणासिन्धो नमः शिवाय शम्भो गौरीशं गिरिजानाथं वन्दे भक्तवत्सलं सर्वरोगहरं देवं सर्वमङ्गलकारकं महादेव रक्ष मां शम्भो रक्ष मां नीलकण्ठ रक्ष मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव भवभयहारक हर हर महादेव कैलासशिखरे रम्ये देवदेवं महेश्वरं ध्यायामि सततं नित्यं भक्तानां हितकारकं जटाजूटधरं शान्तं गङ्गाधरमनुत्तमं चन्द्रशेखरमीशानं वन्देऽहं शिवमव्ययम् दीनबन्धो कृपासिन्धो शरणागतवत्सल मम दुःखं विनाशाय कृपां कुरु महेश्वर हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव आनन्ददायक हर हर महादेव पूर्वे मां पातु शर्वो वै पश्चिमे पातु शङ्करः उत्तरे पातु मे रुद्रः दक्षिणे पातु शूलभृत् ऊर्ध्वे मां पातु विश्वेशः अधस्तात् पातु सदाशिवः सर्वतः पातु मां नित्यं भक्तवत्सल ईश्वरः नेत्रे पातु त्रिलोकेशः कर्णो पातु वृषध्वजः हृदये पातु मे शम्भु सर्वाङ्गे पातु शङ्करः हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव
Hari Om. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's invoke the power of praying together. Om. asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahanavavatu sahanau bhunattu sahaviryankaravavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai om shanti 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 hari om tat sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, who also has the divine name Tridashayaksha, to such a Supreme Almighty, together with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our humble most salutations. To seek His grace, His mercy, His love, His compassion, His benevolence, His blessings, His forgiveness, and His strength. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities such as Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti and Mumukshutvam in a much more enhanced manner. This is only and only to realize my true self, understand thy true self, and become one with thee. Without your grace, this can never happen. So we again and again beseech in you to grant us with this rarest of the rare privilege and opportunity. Om Tat Sat. By the grace of the Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 482, and we are commencing the Atma Bodha study today as class 1 on the 4th of August 2026. स्वस्ति श्री पराभव नाम संवत्सर ग्रीष्म ऋतु आषाढ़ मास कृष्ण पक्ष षष्ट्यातिथौ रेवती नक्षत्र धृति नाम योगे वनिजकरणे. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all once again reaffirm, re-establish our faith, our conviction in the act Naham Karta Hari Karta. Let this be the compass of my life. I am not the doer. And up to a point I am a mere drashta, the seer, the observer, and eventually I merge with the Supreme Consciousness. May this goal of mine be fructified, and with the grace of Guru Parampara and the Ishvara Anugraha, we are sure that this will happen. Our salutations once again to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om everybody, good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So, I hope you are all eager to study Atma Bodha. So am I. But you know how these direction, like after the sequence of the text, after which text I take the next one. That was something which I was amazed. As you all know, we just started our journey on the 7th of April 2020. It didn't start in a flamboyant way. It was a casual start for the teenagers at home. And how many were there? There were only 3. Not that there were many, only 3. So I said, my sister told me, since you know Bhagavad Gita and it's COVID time, everybody is at home, why don't you teach? Then we started. We started in Kannada on the 1st April 2020. And then after a week or so, one of our friends in Mumbai, they asked us, Arey, we came to know that you have started discourses in Kannada on the Bhagavad Gita. Why don't you take it for us in English? So I said, okay. So that way, 1st and then came 7th. Now from 7th onwards, it was back to back. Kannada and English. I don't remember which we were doing first, but it was back to back with a gap of about half an hour. And initially we had about only 40-45 minutes of discourse. Then eventually everybody's thirst was more, I guess. Appetite was also more. They asked us to increase it to 1 hour. And then they said, why not another 10-15 minutes? And so that way it became 1.5 hours. Now, what I'm trying to tell here is, although it's kick-started with the Bhagavad Gita, and naturally you start with chapter 1, but then it was up to the point of COVID, and at that time they were saying maybe it is another 2-3 months. Then they said another 3 months, then another 6 months. So the wave started, first wave, second wave, and all these kind of things happened. So we were continuing. And by a year or a year and a half, when things were more or less getting settled, all the sadhaks were so much tuned into this knowledge that they said, we don't want to stop. Now at that point I had to take a very important decision, and that was, I can't get back to business and at the same time teach. And I felt I would not be able to do justice. See, in business you need to have a rajasic mind, a very active mind, an aspiring mind, a go-getting mind. And for study and teaching, you need a sattvik mind. Just the opposite. A calm mind, a peaceful mind, a serene mind. So, I always believe in one thing, that if you are doing something, do it appropriately, to the core. Otherwise, don't do it. So, taking that aspect, in that 1.5 2 years time, whatever we had done as far as studying and teaching, it does a lot of cleansing. And the seeds of vairagya, mumukshutva, viveka had very well sprouted. I took a call, put an end to business. Let this be my main goal in life. And that's how we began. Now see, what I am trying to explain over here is, where is the direction coming in terms of what should I teach next? So here we are not following any specific syllabus. Otherwise, normally there is a syllabus in any university or a teaching ground, there is a syllabus. But here, if I look back and see, the syllabus was straight as the crow flies, they say, as the crow flies. We are not going to take deviations, turns, halts. No, we are going to go straight to the point, which is self-realization and moksha. That was our approach. And every chapter we did not even take the Bhagavad Gita chapters in a sequence. We were going to the important chapters. Now our mind is trained up to a particular level. I want a chapter which will further enhance my training. It was not for the sake of study. It was for the sake of self-realization. So it was a straight line method or approach, you can say. So that way we started. I'll give you a brief, a bird's eye view. So when we started about discourses 1 to 4 was purely introduction. I wanted to talk about more why this is needed. What is the value, importance of human life? What is the goal of human life? So that way, that was 4 classes were on introduction. Then chapter 1 was covered in that 4 classes. Chapter 2 was from 5 to 35. Then came chapter 3 from 36 to 75th discourse, that is Karma Yoga. So I put a lot of emphasis on Karma Yoga because we are all the time doing karma. We have just started our journey. And then 76, 78 was chapter 3 summarization. Chapter 4 was 79th. In one particular chapter we completed one class, we completed the entire chapter giving the summary. Then chapter 5 was 80 to 84. Chapter 6 was 85 to 125. Then straight from 6 we jumped to chapter 12. 126 to 149. And then summary. We focused so much on summary. Up to 162 we went on summarizing again what we have studied. And then came in Bhaja Govindam. See now, after doing 1 to 6 on Bhagavad Gita and chapter 12 in so much of detail, which is Bhakti Yoga, Bhaja Govindam comes there. That was a hammer for our grahasthas, where Bhagavan Shankaracharya was point blank. He was talking about the facts of life. So 163 to 209 we went on Bhaja Govindam. Then again 210 to 13 was a recap on Bhaja Govindam. Then we moved to chapter 13, 214 to 278. Then 14, 279 to 97. Then 298 to 346. Again we came back to chapter 4, where we had only done one class on the 79th. Now see, this was what was shocking to me. Meaning, at what point, what emphasis has to be given? This was all God sent. I used to not think at all, okay, I'm just completing, now this is over, now what do I do? Suddenly you get a thought, go to this particular chapter. And that was in absolute sync, because we could see every sadhak growing on these thoughts. So chapter 14 was chapter 4, 298 to 346. That was the kind of detailing we had gone into. And then came again chapter 6, which we had done already, 85 to 125, meaning 41 classes we had done. Again we focused 375 to 405. And then we did the Tattva Bodha, Brahma Namavali. Now it is all hardcore now. Getting into the core aspects of what you have studied. Aparokshanubhuti. Then the summary again. So 413 to 471 was Aparokshanubhuti. Are you getting that Anubhuti, what we have studied? Many understand, but only few realize, Swami Vivekananda says. So how much are you able to realize? Establish yourself, Aparokshanubhuti. Then post that we did the Viveka Chudamani Dhyana Shlokas. Purely meditative shlokas, which we completed during our last class. So, this way, when we saw that, before we took up, why did we need Bhaja Govindam at that point? To develop that vairagya, dispassion. Knowledge we are getting, but without vairagya we are going to go nowhere. So only vairagya can give rise to mumukshutva. So Bhaja Govindam came there. And what we had studied earlier, we had understood that there was a decent amount of Viveka Shakti, discrimination, discernment, which was already granted to us by Paramatma. And what is that discernment? Anitya drishyeshu vivichya nityam. In this universe of changing entities, a person who pierces through this kind of a change and arrives at that unchanging Brahman in his experiences. Anitya drishyeshu vivichya nityam tasmin samadatta ihas is asmalilaya. Meaning, then what does he do? He gets established in the eternal. Tasmin samadatta. Tasmin, he samadatta. How? With lots of effort does he do that? Leelaya. Just like a play. Just like you watch a play in a drama theatre or in a movie theatre, you're watching a play. In that same way, very casually, he is now absorbed in the eternal Brahman. So, Viveka Vairagya, Vishuddha Chittam, meaning why it is easy for such a person and why it's not so easy for us beginners? Because his mind is purified by Viveka and Vairagya. And that fourfold qualification, Viveka, Vairagya, Shama Adi Shat Sampatti, the 6 treasures, and he gets Mumukshutva. So here they said to such a Vivekananda, Yoso Viveki, to such a Vivekananda, Tamaham Namami. We all bow down. Who has got these qualities? So what we are able to understand here, that Viveka, discernment of knowing what is the status of life. How many blows you are going to take in life. Not necessary that you have to take all the blows. If somebody known to you is getting the blows, know that it can come to you also. Anything can happen to you, what is happening outside in the world. Don't think that you are lucky. Maybe till this day you are lucky. Tomorrow what happens, God only knows. Make your discernment. Change your priorities in life. So that way, we just began with Bhajagovindam. And after having given Viveka, then the Vairagya started setting in. And eventually Mumukshutva came to the next level. And that way, we got to know the Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi, then Drigdrishya Viveka, Nirvana Shatakam. So all this. So now when you see that after doing all this, then we came back to the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, because that was required at that stage. And then we went back to the waking, dream and the Avasthatraya sthiti and the deep sleep state, because that is again what we have to nullify now. So like this, the journey went on and on and on. And now after having gone into a deep state of Nididhyasana, meditation, now we do Atma Bodha. We have done Tattva Bodha. Tattva Bodha and Atma Bodha are like, as you have Haldi Kumkum in traditionally, both are together. Only one is not there. Both are together in the same way. Tattva Bodha and Atma Bodha. We are now at Atma Bodha. Now, why Atma Bodha? Let's understand that. See, I normally start. I know that we are being led by the divine, and then the realization comes in. Oh, this is the reason why we have studied Atma Bodha. Now, since we have done for Atma Bodha in Kannada, we have done how many? 16 classes we have done already, Atma Bodha. We are getting to understand what is the reason for Atma Bodha. Imagine that you are preparing for a long journey. So you are going abroad. Now, before leaving, you think a couple of times or more than a couple of times, have I packed everything? Is anything missing? Because it's an international journey. You check your passport, you check your visa, you check your tickets, you check your currency. Every item you may keep making a note and you start ticking them. It's not like, okay, you have going by car and you go a few kilometers, you have forgotten something, you come back home and you pick it up. No. So now understand, Atma Bodha is such a kind of a final review. It is a review. I would call it as, now that we have studied everything in detail, here we are going to talk about Atma is self. Bodha is enlightenment. So study about the enlightenment of your true self. So we have to understand how much each and every aspect has entered into me. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he teaches this nature of the self directly, and repeatedly he gives vivid metaphors, analogies, so that the truth is extremely clear to us. You can say unmistakably clear. So that way we will continue our study. Okay. Now before that, I just came across today. It was just today afternoon I came across one method of pranayam. They call it as breath work. So it's okay. But it is a pranayam, which we have been doing, not that we have not done, but we will do that. Now what instigated me was, see, we have conscious mind and a subconscious mind. We want the rewiring of this knowledge to happen at the subconscious mind, which we call as neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, by the neurons, neural pathways in our brain being realigned. And I could understand that this particular pranayam, what we are going to do now, is it takes you to another state of the brain, mind, meaning the brain goes to another state where you have beta, alpha, theta and delta. So in the beta state, which is a rational thinking, so the same things, what thoughts come to your mind, what feelings come to your mind, and the routine tactical, logical things you do, all these are coming from the beta state. And beta state does not have the capacity to rewire your brain. So then we all are in beta state now, actively listening. Now if I want this, whatever you have listened, unless and until you go to a deep state of meditation and do nididhyasana in the right way, this knowledge, whatever we have learnt, is not going to be of any help to us. So we have to do it in the state of alpha. So what I thought, it is just a matter of 3 minutes. So we do this cyclic sighing, they say. Sigh means, many times we do this. When you are done with something, you take a sigh, a deep sigh. So this is cyclic sighing, and I'll teach you how to do this. As we do our Gayatri mantra, as we do our offering of prayer, salutations to the divine and the Guru Parampara, let's do this 3-minute exercise and take our level to the state of alpha. Because I see many people, they come at 5:58, 59 or 6. As I've explained in the past, even if you switch off a fan, it will go on for some time. It will go swirling around. If you apply brakes, the car won't stop there. It will go ahead and stop. So you have come in a rush. You are of course very punctual. 59:06, you are logged in. But your mind is in an active state. And that's not going to do good for you. And how was I convinced about this? This was in January 23, a team at Stanford, they published a very profound study. And there were 3 researchers. One was David Spiegel, Andrew Huberman. Andrew Huberman is quite popular with so many reels. And there was one more lady by name Melis Yilmaz Balban. Okay. What they did, they divided a group of 100 into 2, and one was given the exercise of 5 minutes meditation every day, and the other was given only breathing pattern of 5 minutes, cyclic sighing, what we say. And after a month, they both were analyzed, and they were in that research they saw that the ones who were doing this cyclic sighing, they had a massive improvement in their mood and in their breath rate and a deep shift in their physiology. So I said, and they claim that if you keep doing this, in a few months time, now what you are at alpha state, you can go to the next state, which is the theta, that is the dream state. And you must have noticed many a times many solutions come in the dream or when you're in that state of a semi-awakened state. So I said we will do this, and probably many of us are already doing pranayam, we are doing meditation, so we should not take much time to go to the next level, and probably that could add to the neural pathway setting which we are all aspiring for. What we need is not the cognitive brain, we need the subconscious brain to be tuned and rewired. Okay, so let's study this now. I would request all of you to sit straight, head, spine, neck in a straight line. You can keep your eyes open. Now, what does this particular cyclic sighing? You take a deep breath through your nose, and as you have filled up your lungs, take another breath and fill it up to the maximum, like as you do this way. One more. And within a second, then you have to breathe out with your mouth. The longer it is, the more faster you will go to the alpha state. So now we are preparing our mind. Now you want to make rotis. Will you not see whether the pan is sufficiently hot or not? Otherwise, it will all come half-baked. So the pan has to be in the right temperature. So in the same way, let's take our mind to the right level. So breathe in, and when you have felt that you have breathed enough, take one more breath and then switch. Breathe out through your mouth. A sigh, as we call. Okay, so this we are going to do for 3 minutes. Come. You want, you can close your eyes also. Whatever you are comfortable with, please do that way. Yeah. Let's start. The longer they breathe out, the more beneficial it is. Then immediately inhale through the nose. Very good. So this can be done at any time, anywhere, provided the air quality is good. That will immediately freshen up your mind and it will take it to a more deeper state, a calm state, a peaceful state. So not only for our study as far as spiritual practices are concerned, but any other study, any other important discussion, meeting, you can make use of this. Okay. Now, so as I mentioned now, Atma Bodha is that final review which you are giving to your own self. How much I have understood. Where do I stand? How deeply has this subject entered me? Is there any doubt anywhere about my true identity? So this way, in this Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he teaches the nature of the self directly. And galore, you have analogies, metaphors, so many which will make it very easy for us. Okay. So now every verse speaks about the Atman and it gives you an idea from a different perspective. Now you have to be watchful. Let's say you're talking about a body. You show a picture of a hand and you explain its functions. Then you show a picture of a face and you explain its functions. Then of a leg and you explain its functions. Now likewise, you should eventually put everything together. That is what is important over here. So his special contribution, I can say, lies in arranging that wisdom in a poetical manner and with the metaphors he has given. And if you actually see, Atma Bodha is the essence of all the Upanishads, and it is presented in 68 verses. This Atma Bodha is especially helpful for householders like us. See, we live in a family where we have our parents, in-laws, children, grandchildren. Then you have your property, your work, your repairs, your vehicles, telephone calls, responsibilities. So many things. And you see, pressure comes from every side. Sometimes you're traveling in a car and then the driver says, "Sir, I don't know, this car is pulling to the left." Now you start thinking, when am I going to send this car for repair? Because you have so many things on your list. And then while you're thinking about that, you get a call from your spouse from home saying that so and so pipe is leaking and we have to set it right immediately. Then maybe your son or daughter studying in another city or in another country, they call and they talk about some problem what they have. And your office calls and say there is an income tax notice. Before one matter is resolved, so many other things comes up. Now here comes the crucial part. Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he teaches us how to act amidst all these disturbances, being peaceful and established in the self. Now you got to know what is the purpose of this text, especially for householders like us. Let challenges come, but I know I'm not going to shirk from my presence being established with the Atma. In simple terms, as a drashta. Rather than you functioning solely from the identification of this body, this mind and this individuality. No. When you are in such a problem, entangled with this body, mind, every rise and fall, which is striking you personally, should not waver your attention from the self. So we have to learn to see it from a distance as a drashta. You've gone to somebody's house, you're a guest there, and you see there is so much of chaos. The husband is shouting from his room, the wife is shouting at somebody in the kitchen, and then the doorbell rings, and the wife shouts at that fellow to the maid, go and open the door. And all this you are sitting. So here you have to learn to watch everything as a drashta. Just like you're sitting in a cinema theater. Images are appearing on the screen. How they are appearing? Light and projector is on. And if you start thinking, I think this scene should not be there, or this scene was too long, will anything happen that way? Can you alter the content of the movie which is running? No. So when you can't do anything, just sit back, relax and enjoy. If you can't do that, then go off to sleep. But if you start commenting, then you are taxing your brain. For what? For no reason, because you can't do anything in any which case. So now you have to see, as this knowledge unfolds, after shloka, you will get different versions. Now you know whether this knowledge has become firm in me or not. And you have to simply stop carrying the burden of that authorship and react to each and every aspect. You should stop doing that. Like when we are, for example, we are seeing a movie and we get acclimatized to a character, whichever character, and we become so one with that character. Anything which happens, anything harmful to that character, it has an impact on us. And then along with the role, we cry, we laugh, we become fearful, we become anxious. So likewise, all that is because there is ignorance and identification with the character. In the same way, here we are identified with the body. We are identified with ignorance, with our jiva, and we experience that fear, that anxiety, that greed, all this. So now Atma Bodha will help us as a householder to live fully while we are deeply rooted in the witnessing self. See, again and again I'm focusing on that. When you're listening to this, are you in the self? When after the class you get back to your routine work, your chores, are you in the self? This you have to keep hammering again and again. So all the 68 verses will take you through that ride. When a person is distracted, we may explain something, we tell them once, twice. But let's imagine that person does not listen attentively. Then what we did, we give him one hit on the back. We nudge him. And for what? To gain his full attention. In the same way, each and every metaphor over here, it strikes us, keeps us away from that misunderstanding. So something that was intellectually understood but has not become a conviction, finally has to become clear. Otherwise, this is a text which is done very much in the beginning. But I don't know, we are doing it, but I am seeing great advantage. Things get so clear to you. Do I have all this? Initially what it was saying, you need to have all this. Now when we do I have all this? And if I have, to what extent do I have this? So it is like, when we hear, in the beginning, you all have heard, even I have heard, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the senses. At that point we may wonder, how can this possibly be true? If the same Atma Bodha was taught to us in the beginning, you are not the body, you are not the mind, so then you will say, what are they talking here? Can this be true? Now what will happen is, when you listen to this, when this teaching has been assimilated, we have done all the Brahmanandavali, we have done Atma Shatakam, Drigdrishya Viveka, after all this has done, if we ask such, if somebody says, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the senses, now the mind says, sorry, this is a very obvious point. Why are you repeating it again and again? You don't have to tell this again and again. We know this. It's very obvious to us. So that way, that change, from that doubt to not only understanding, but to unshakable conviction. So now this happens from Shravana, Manana towards Nididhyasana. This is which has happened to us. So look at it as I told you, initially what was taught to you, which might have sounded to you as this appears a little weird, or this appears far-fetched, if you have thought that way, now it should show. Please don't tell this, we are very clear about it, go ahead. That should be the conviction which one should have. Okay. Now we go to verse number 1 and understand what it says. तपोभीक्षेण पापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणाम् अपेक्ष अयम् आत्मबोध विधीयते. Here Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, I am composing this Atma Bodha, the treatise on the self-knowledge, for those who have purified themselves by austerities, that is tapobhihi, who are peaceful in heart, that is shantanam, who are free from cravings, that is vitaraginam, and who are desirous of liberation, mumukshunam. Mumukshunam apekshaha, hoping for, expecting to gain, I am this Atma Bodha vidhiyate, meaning is being composed. This is the first verse. Now, what does this verse tell us? Is composed for those whose impurities have been weakened. Now immediately you should check. Am I getting to experience what is being taught? I have heard, I have understood, but I am not experiencing. Three things: Shravana, Manana. I have heard, Shravana. Manana, I have understood, there are no doubts, I have understood properly. Nididhyasana should give you what? The experience. Am I experiencing? That conviction. Anatma, yes, body, mind, senses are all instruments to the Atma in this body. They are not the true self. The true self is that Chetana Shakti within you, that awareness within you, which is the reflection of the Chaitanya Shakti. That is the true self, and all the rest are components to that Chetana Shakti. So here you got to know that have my impurities weakened. And how they weaken? Through tapas. See, the solution is also given over here. So, have I done enough of tapas? Without which my impurities of the mind will not have weakened. And if they have not weakened, then I will not understand what is being told over here. So for that, what do I need to do? I need to enhance my tapas. Tapas is what? You do fasting, indriya nigraha. You do japa, constant chanting. So, if your mind is not pure, it means you are not experiencing, which means your mind is not pure. Your mind, if it has to become pure, then you have to increase your tapas. Do more of chanting. That's why we are focusing so much on the selfless chant of Sri Mahamrityunjaya Mantra Japa. Why? Without your impurities, nothing can be achieved over here. So then he says, whose minds, I have composed this firstly where there is no impurities of the mind, and then whose minds are peaceful. The second one, minds are peaceful in the sense, shantanam tapobihi kshina papanam, who have purified themselves by tapas, and shantanam, for those who are peaceful in their mind. Is your mind peaceful? If it is not, then again go back to selfless activity. So here in the selfless activity, you have the tapas also involved. So that takes care of each and every aspect, doing a job, selfless job. So you are now checking Atma Bodha is for the one whose mind is peaceful. Yes, my mind is peaceful. And then the next, these are all qualifications. Vitaraginam. Is your mind free from attachment? What is this free from attachment? Anything that disturbs you is a clear sign that you are attached to it. That's all. Anything. It could be a person, place, or an object. If you are attached to it, if there is some kind of an agitation in your mind, or displeasure, or some sort of a disturbance, that means you are attached to it. Are you free from attachment? And then the fourth one he talks about is mumukshunam. Are you sincerely wanting liberation? Is this your main goal or your passion? See, passions can always change. Today I want to become a painter. Oh, canvas painter. It's in vogue. It's in style now. Yeah, I do canvas painting. And then after a while you think, no, I think I should play flute. Suddenly the passion changes. Is it something like this, where you want to shift your passion? Or is it that this is my main goal in life? There is nothing more important than this. So here, in this single phrase, the verse talks about this internal cleansing. First, foremost, internal. See, like while there is a festival, let's say Ugadi, Dasara, Deepavali, as the festival is approaching, first activity in the house, what happens? Cleansing. We clean the kitchen, we clean the rooms, the outside area, the inside area, the store cupboards, then whatever objects are even kept in the attic, we clean that. So for any celebration, it begins with cleanliness. So that is what they are talking about, is for purified themselves. That is the importance. So one wishes to know the Atma, the self. It's not an ordinary subject, it's like the biggest festival of the year. So that inner purification is required. So you check, if it is not there, start working towards it. As we do before going for an important journey, we check whether everything is there or not. Before surgery, the body must be prepared. It must be cleansed inside completely. All other parameters are checked and kept ready. So that is the procedure. So tapo vikshina papanam, shantanam, vitaraginam and mumukshutvam. So now this teaching is not merely for someone who wants, see, it is good to listen to Harikatha, what we call Puranic stories. All those, they have their own beauty in their own place. But here Shankaracharya is saying, look, if you are seeking moksha, come here. Atma Bodha is an entrance to the university of Atma Jnana, which is self-knowledge. Curiosity alone cannot sustain this pursuit. You may be curious. You look at somebody, he looks so peaceful. He looks so centered. I don't see him getting disturbed. I want to become like him. What is his goal? He is not trying for peace. His goal is for self-knowledge. And peace is one of the qualities which aids mumukshutva, or that attainment of self-knowledge, but not for the sake of peace he is doing all this. It is a byproduct. So without inner preparation, a person does not remain with this teaching for long. I'll give you an example. When I was studying the residential Vedanta course, which was between 2011 and 13, of course we were given permission not to be as a resident. We used to come home and then go back. This was the 15th batch, Vedanta batch. Worldwide there is only one center which teaches, is the Swami Chinmayananda Ashram here. So 730 days, 365 into 2 to 3 classes every day non-stop. No Diwali, no Independence, no May 1st, no festival, no other activity. There is there is no class today, no, every day. So now, about average, I would tell you, 3,000 to 4,000 students apply all across the globe. And there's one teacher, for 1 year he goes in search of students. He does the interview in all these countries. Probably about 30 countries or so they travel, where from nearby everybody comes over there. And 18 states within the country. Okay. About 3,000 to 4,000 students are interviewed. And then eventually only about 70 are selected. Boys and girls put together. You can say men and women, because they are at the age of 25 to 30. When we were studying, even seniors also had a chance, but now since last 3 years, they have put the cutoff date as 30 years. So now, life in this ashrama is so disciplined. There is no radio, there is no telephone, no TV, no newspaper, no social media, no mobile, nothing. You are completely cut off from the world. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning, you have your prayers, you have your seva, simple food, cold water baths, and intense schedule of study and sadhana. Now see, after such a careful selection, I have seen at the end of the course, if there was in the beginning 70, at the end you could see about 40 on an average. I'm talking about 3-4 groups, courses which I have seen after my study. So in fact, some have left 1 month or 2 months before the completion of 2 years. So this shows that this self-knowledge, Atma Jnana, what we are talking, it cannot be pursued at the intellectual, as an intellectual novelty, it needs tremendous preparation. So this tapas, what we are talking about, that disciplined living, now that it does not mean an extreme austerity, it means a disciplined life. Doing what is right even when it is inconvenient, restraining your impulses. You go somewhere, they offer you some nice sweets, nice food. You suddenly feel like eating, but you have to restrain your impulse. It's not for the sake of your health or for the food part. It is how much control you have over your senses, and living alertly, accepting discomfort for a higher goal. That's what we are all able to do as a tapas in the Kailash Yatra. Maximum discomfort during the yatra I am talking, meaning the parikrama. What is the goal? Higher goal. So life must itself has to be transformed into a sadhana. A casual approach will not take us anywhere. So this way, as the impurities diminish, the mind becomes shantam. See, you don't have to do special efforts for making the second quality. Tapovik kshina papanam shantanam. If you want your mind to become peaceful, allow the impurities to diminish. So a confused and an agitated mind cannot grasp this subtle truth. Very subtle. Where the Vedas themselves say that this is a knowledge which cannot be grasped by the mind or the senses. See? So everyone, I would rather say, come 5 to 10 minutes before, get properly in a quiet state of mind. As I explained to you, it takes some time for a mind to settle down. That is always advisable. Okay. Now, this Vedanta, what we are talking, it's not any imaginative concept that we can just manufacture. It is revealing the ever-present Atma which is within you. And a restless mind cannot recognize this subtle truth. So if a lake is full of waves, let's say, and the moon's reflection, what happens? It appears broken and not clear, of course. But when the same lake becomes still, that same moon is reflected perfectly. So this is the central principle of Raja Yoga. What they say is you quieten your mind. You don't have to do anything. Quieten your mind. The Atma which is right within, it will become evident. So, Vitaragina. Now the next one. After the mind is Shantana, Vairagya. Possession without bondage. Vitaraga. Free from that binding attachment. Perform your duty. But do not be inwardly possessed by any person or any object. See, somebody went, a devotee goes and talks to the Guru and he tells him, "Oh Guru, please help me, Guruji. There are so many things in my life which are holding me and they are not allowing me to go on this spiritual path." That Guru's class was about to start. He says, "Okay, let me talk to you after the class. Please be seated." So the class started, and after the designated time, the Guru walks out, and there's a tree next to the place where he was teaching. He holds the tree and he starts shouting, "Arey, save me, save me. This tree is not letting me go." And the same Shishya was sitting in the front. He comes, "Arey Guruji, what are you doing? Where is the tree holding you? You are holding the tree." And then the Guru says, "This is exactly, you are holding everything in this world. They are not holding you. You think that they are holding you. And then the student understood. So like I'll give an example which happened with me actually. This was about a year back, and I had bought a new car. It was just less than a week. And what happened was, I was taking a reverse. Somebody in my parking place, in front of a parking place, nobody parks a car. That fellow had parked a car in such a way that it was not visible. And very small, 2-3 inches had come on the way. So when I went back, it hit his number plate and there was a fine scratch on the new car. It was an immediate reconciliation. If had it been earlier, it would have definitely affected me a lot. But then I saw, okay, how did this happen? That fool had parked behind the car and it was not visible because you are in an elevated place, and it happened. So then I immediately called the garage and said, please send somebody and get it repaired. Now these are the times when you can see how much are such things affecting you. You can't do now, something had to happen, it has happened. If it affects you, meaning you were possessed of that thing. That everybody comes with their own life and eventualities in life to happen. You have got no role to play there. We think that we have got a role to play, but actually speaking, no. And without getting attached, whatever you need to do, you do. As a parent, as a sibling, or as a friend, what guidance you can give that, but at the mind level, it should not disturb you. Work front, do 100%. Once it was Swami Vivekananda was going in a boat, and along with him there were several other passengers sitting in the boat. One passenger notices a very expensive watch on the wrist of Swami Vivekananda, and he had the chutzpah, they say, meaning the guts to ask Swami Vivekananda, you say you are a sannyasi and you are wearing such a costly watch? Then immediately Swami Vivekananda, he removed it, and an unknown stranger who was sitting next to him, he gave it to him. Now it was expensive for the questioner's mind, but it had got no role to play in Swami Vivekananda's mind. He had no attachment towards it. As he was wearing it casually, he casually gave it off. And there's another interesting story of a businessman with a sannyasi in a train. A Rajdhani Express is going to Delhi, and Delhi businessman is sitting in the AC coach, 2-tier AC, and there he sees there's one sannyasi sitting there who was robed in saffron clothes, and he looked at him and he saw he had a top class suitcase, maybe it could be a Samsonite or something like that, or you can even say Tumi, and whatever paraphernalia he had was all like above the mark. So this businessman, he asked that monk, see, I observed that apart from the color of our clothes, what is the difference between you and me? Because I see you also traveling in style, and same is with me. I am a businessman, you say you are a sannyasi. Now the sannyasi didn't talk much. In a few minutes, the train stopped at a station, and the sannyasi got down to have some tea. So he called his friend, why don't you join me for a cup of tea. And okay, the businessman went down, and as they were having tea, this train started moving. This fellow is saying, Swamiji, the train is leaving, come, come, come. But what this Swamiji does is he holds his hand, that even he doesn't go and catch the train. Saying, what are you doing? The train is leaving. So what? If it is leaving, let it leave. That businessman is saying, my luggage is there inside. Now that monk, that sannyasi is holding the businessman's hand tight. He says, I don't lose anything if the train departs. But the businessman is saying, all my luggage is there, I am going to lose. And then he said, now did you get your answer? I don't lose anything. But whereas you are shouting that you lose, when we were in the train, you were saying that we both are looking the same. And he says, thank God I understood what you are saying. And he lets his hand loose, and this fellow runs and catches the train. So it is at the mind level. You may possess anything, you may have anything. That is okay. That is the karma of the body, so it is getting whatever it needs to get. All pain, pleasure, luxury, discomfort, comfort, all that is there. But at the mind level, nothing should disturb you. So we must test our vairagya through our own reactions. Others cannot fully measure it. Maybe your spouse or your children, people who are very close to you, they may be able to. But you have to observe yourself. Earlier, you may react strongly. Now, if that reaction is reduced, then we know that we are growing on this path. So when a reaction arises, note it. In this situation, my mind was disturbed, and I am now going to boost my tapas. I have to enhance my tapas now. So that way. So, Vitaraginam Vairagya. See, in Anandavali of Taittiriya Upanishad it is said, whatever joy comes to you comes from your Atma. And whatever you do in life, you do it for the sake of your Atma. Why? That is your true nature. And the true nature of Atma is joy. Now one person was asked, why do you work? He says, because I love my job. Oh, so if you are loving your job, that means what money you are getting for the job, if that is not given, you are still okay? He says, no, I want money also. That which means you are loving the job because it is giving you money. Okay, this one thing is proved over here. Without the money, you don't love your job. But on the face of it, we say, I love my job. Behind it, what is there? The money. Now we say, okay, I give you the money, but you are not supposed to use it. He says, no, then what is the meaning? I love the money because it is able to buy me things in life. Oh, okay. So which means you love your job because it gives you money, and that money is able to buy you things. That is the reason you do this job. Yes. Okay, now you buy whatever you want to buy, but you are not supposed to use them, nor give it to anybody. He says, then what is the use of buying all these things? So now see, carefully if you understand, eventually what happens is that particular job gives you money, money gives you things, and those things eventually give you satisfaction in whatever way. You may buy a car, you may buy a vacation, you may pay your school fees, or you may pay the rent. So it is in that way helping you to achieve something in life. So in the same way, what this Taittiriya Upanishad says is, anything which you are doing is not for the sake of that particular act, but for the ultimate sake of yourself, meaning your Atma. How do I understand this? If that particular thing which was disturbing you all the time, when you get it, you think that that particular object or person, because of whom I got joy. It is not the case. Because of that agitation which stopped when you got it, then you are able to feel the presence of Atma within. So here they talk of nivritti and pravritti. So if you move towards the nivritti aspect, towards the Atma, eventually you will get joy. And how do I do that? By curtailing my desires. And how do I do? By practicing pravritti. Then you are all the time you are collecting things, objects, after relationships, pravritti. But now and then they don't come the way you have expected, and in between you will have ups and downs in life. So the pravritti marga is chasing behind the world. Nivritti marga is chasing Atman. In chasing Atman, you will get 100% bliss at one point when you have relinquished all your desires. Zero desire. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. So, what is mumukshutva? What is vairagya? Moving towards Atman. Gaining that vairagya is moving towards that Atman, you gain vairagya. And that same inward mind which was going outward, you have sent it inward now. That inward mind, when you turn it towards the Lord, that becomes mumukshutva. So vairagya, nivritti marga is vairagya, going towards the Atman. And while you go towards the Atman, that direction of the mind, you move it towards the Lord. That is mumukshutva. I want nothing less than freedom. Total mumukshutva. That is Paramatma and Paramatma alone. So this Atma Bodha is not for any kind of a poetry or for a spiritual ecstasy. No. It is a learning collected to defeat others in debate. No. It becomes a mirror where I stand in front of the mirror, as I can see myself crystal clear. In the same way, you should be able to see where you stand as you study this text. So we'll take up some more few stories. We can take up Nachiketa, then we'll take up Dhruva, likewise, and Prahlada. These are all stalwarts. And also one story of Bharata, how he was a great emperor. He relinquished his kingdom. He goes to the forest and he saves a deer, and that fawn, meaning deer dies, mother deer, and it has given birth to a fawn. Now he takes care of the fawn. He becomes so attached to the fawn that eventually he stops his sadhana, and at the time of death is thinking of that fawn. So he becomes a deer again in his next life. So these 3-4 stories we'll understand about the mumukshutva, and then we'll move to the next verse. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namah. We'll take 535 verse 57. महर्षि कपिलाचार्यः कृतज्ञो मेदिनीपतिः त्रिदशाध्यक्षः महाशृङ्गकृतान्तकृत्. Now 535. Tridashayaksha. Okay. It was on the same lines of what we learnt in 534, Tripadaha. Tridashayaksha, the Lord of three steps. The three steps are waking, dream, and deep sleep. One who is the witness of the three steps is the self. That means what? All the three states, waking, dream, and deep sleep, are an illusion. And who is seeing all this? Just like the dream was seen by you as a dreamer. So, the dream of the waking state is seen by consciousness. So, it can also mean that one who assumes in his play the three qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas, and yet himself is not affected by any one of them. So, he is Tridashayaksha. To such an Almighty, we offer our humble salutations. Seek His grace, mercy, and blessings. Now we chant the Dhanvantari mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanideye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanideye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanideye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Together we offer our humble salutations to Lord Dhanvantari to give us the requisite amount of health till we achieve our goal in life. So please close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Atma Bodha is a text which is like a mirror, reflecting your true state. To make the necessary corrections in your life. Based on the exhaustive sadhana what you have done so far. Wherever gaps are there which need to be filled up, you need to reckon, make a note of all this and ensure that you would adequately fulfill those shortcomings. So to start our journey, we need to purify ourselves with all the austerities we have been doing, which eventually makes you peaceful. And in that peaceful state, having gained victory over your mind and senses, you are free from cravings, with a strong desire for liberation. If you have all this, then you are the most fit candidate for spiritual self-realization. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, together we offer today's Jnana Yajna at your lotus feet to seek your grace, mercy and blessings. Naham karta hari karta hari preranaya hari prityartam. Shri Krishna arpanamastu idam namama. So good evening to all of you once again. So well, I think we have begun well, and well begun is half done. So let's make progress. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
मैं छोड़ दूं अहंकार, तेरे चरणों में खो जाऊं, तेरे नाम की धुन में महादेव मैं हो जाऊं। जो था मेरा सब तेरा निकला, तेरे बिना हर सपना बिखरा। जब जब दुनिया ने मुझको तोड़ा, तूने ही हर बार मुझको जोड़ा। अब ना कोई चाह ना कोई गुमा, बस तेरा ही नाम बने मेरी पहचान। झूठे रिश्तों की भीड़ में भोले, सिर्फ तेरा प्रेम मिला, सच्चा वरदान। मैं शून्य हो रहा हूँ, यही, भोले बिना मेरी दुनिया नहीं। जब मिट जाए मेरा हर अभिमान, तब दिखे तुझ में पूरा ब्रह्मांड। तेरी भस्म में ऐसा वैराग्य, जिसमें छिपा है सारा आनंद। तेरी जटाओं से बहती गंगा मन की प्यास बुझाती है। तेरे डमरू की हर एक धुन जीवन का सत्य सुनाती है। अब न जीत की कोई चाह, न हार का कोई डर, बस तेरी छाया मिल जाए, यही मेरा अंतिम सफर। मैंने दुनिया को बहुत पुकारा, सबने अपनी राह चुनी। जब तेरे मंदिर तक पहुंचा, तब जाकर सांसें मिली। तेरी खामोशी भी उत्तर है, तेरी दूरी भी कृपा है। जो तू करता वही उचित है, तेरी हर लीला अनुपम है। टूटे दिल की हर धड़कन में तेरा ही संगीत बसा। सुनी आँखों की हर बूंद में तेरी करुणा का दीप जला। मैं नहीं, बस तू ही तू, हर धड़कन में बस तेरी धुन। शिव ही आदि, शिव ही अंत, शिव में ही मेरा अनंत। मैं मिट्टी हूँ तो जीवन है, मैं सागर की एक लहर। तेरे बिना अधूरी हर सांस, तू ही मेरा परम सफर। न सोने का कोई सिंहासन, न महलों की पहचान, बस तेरे चरणों की धूल मिले, यही है मेरी शान। तेरे कैलाश की बर्फीली चोटी मुझको रोज बुलाती है। तेरी भोली सी मुस्कान हर पीड़ा भुलाती है। तेरे त्रिशूल की छाया में हर डर छोटा हो जाता है। तेरे नाम का एक ही मंत्र जीवन सफल बना जाता है। जिस दिन अंतिम सांस चलेगी, तेरा नाम ही साथ रहे। मेरी आंखों में बस कैलाश, मेरे होठों पर तेरा जप रहे। मेरी राख अगर बिखरे तेरे पवन धाम की राहों में, मेरा हर कण गारे भोले तेरे अमर गुण गानों में। फिर चाहे जन्म मिले या न मिले, बस इतना वरदान रहे। हर जीवन में तेरी भक्ति, हर पल तेरा ध्यान रहे। मैं शून्य हो रहा हूँ, मुझ में तू भर जा। मेरे भोले शंकर, अब मुझ में उतर जा। मिट जाए मेरा मैं, बस शिव रह जाए। मेरी हर धड़कन हर हर महादेव गाए। ना कोई इच्छा न कोई अभिलाषा, बस तेरा ही नाम पुकारो। जब तक सांसें चलती जाए, हर पल ओम नमः शिवाय उच्चारो।